So where you guys are smelling like smoke, my name's Sayam. And we can go around and you guys want to say your names? Okay, sorry.
My name is Emerson.
My name is Kelly. Okay, awesome. So what we're going to do today is I just want to help me set up the altar. And everybody has one at their house. Everybody does. And it's a place in a room or in our house where we put our gifts, you know, or cool things, or cool toys, or pictures, or it could be the place where we get it. But it's like one little place in our homes where we have our parents putting gifts, little small statues, or, you know, crazy fun things that parents like putting, decorating. So we're doing that today here. And the reason why we're doing that is because you all heard about what happened in Texas, right?
Yeah.
Pretty scary, pretty sad. So you all are gonna help me however you guys want. Set up the altar for them. So these are the children and the teachers. So we're gonna put their picture here.
There's 21. Okay.
Yeah, so there's actually 21 here. But I want you guys to think about good intentions. And what I mean by that is good thoughts, right? Maybe for their parents to be happy, or them to be safe wherever they're at. People believe in different things. But I want you guys to think about good stuff, positive stuff. Right? It could be, you know, that hopefully they have a lot of toys to play with, or their siblings are okay. So I'm gonna hand you guys some stuff, and wherever you all want to put it at, it's fine. So we have a book, we have an apple, we have a shell. People know how to make cool noises with it. I personally do not. We have this. So you all can grab it, this stuff, and that's my board. We've got a little bracelet. And then you might be wondering, what is that? What is that smoke? My ancestors and some of your ancestors, right, before they became empires, right, they were tribal. Some people were tribal. And this is medicine, right? Sometimes we think as medicine as, oh my God, the doctors, you're sick, right? But it's actually cedar. It comes from a tree, and you all can feel it. It's a cedar tree. And we use cedar trees whenever someone's feeling sad, or anything like that, you know, you just burn it. And it makes that smoke. And it might smell like, oh, that's, you know, it got me sometimes for me to adjust to that smell. It smells bad. So we use that for, to fix things. Other people use sage. You all heard about sage, right? And these are macaw feathers. And macaws represent, you guys can feel it and pass it around. Represents the mother of your mother. So your grandmother. So now what I'm going to do, I'm going to sing some children's songs. Please don't make fun of my voice. It's pretty funny when I sing. But the reason why I wanted you here is because they're children's too. You know, they're back with their parents in a different form, right? But you all get to go back to your parents. It's a beautiful thing, right?
Yeah.
Sometimes we get mad at our parents and we might dislike them for a bit, but guess what? They're still our parents and we still love them, right? The same way they love us, regardless if we get in trouble or not. But I'm going to sing a few songs, and that's going to be the opening. These are children's songs. Okay. I sing the lullaby for all the little children, all the little boys and all the little girls, and all that they away. Itsy bitsy spider from up the water sky, down came the rain and washed the spider out, and all that they away. When a child is born, right, people gather around, and sometimes we see it as a baby shower. Some people have ceremonies to acknowledge that child. When it's something special, like your birthday, people gather around to celebrate your life. When people pass away, people gather around to celebrate them too. And I sing those songs because those are children's songs. So there's songs for everything. There's songs when people pass away. There's songs for children. I did sing the Earth song to acknowledge Mother Earth. But I want to open it up to you all to tell me how you're feeling. It could be right now you might be scared, right? You might feel happy. You might feel sad. However you might be feeling is fine. But I want to hear from you all. How are you guys feeling today? You want to start?
I'm feeling good.
Sharon, how
I'm really sad for all these kids because we had so much time and it was kind of sad.
Sharon?
I think feeling bad.
You feeling bad? Yeah. And oftentimes people don't ask us how we're feeling, right? So that's what we ask our friends. Hey, how are you doing today? How are you feeling today? And they're like, oh, I'm feeling good. I'm feeling cool. It's okay to feel like that. It's also okay to feel sad. It's okay to cry. It's okay to feel the way you're feeling, right? It's a scary situation. So I first wanted to do this with y'all because it's going to be a long one. We have a lot of adults here. And they might take a while expressing themselves. But we wanted to make this time for you guys to hear how you all are doing. So you guys can come back with your parents. And then you all are more than welcome to join in. There's openings where you're able to come in, and then if y'all need to step out, you guys go out through those openings, and then I'm gonna explain why in just a bit. Once again, don't worry, it's not witchcraft. So please come in.
And then you want to say in Spanish too,
Huh? Yes. So, bienvenidos todos, gracias por estar aquí. Si quieren entrar al círculo, no se preocupen, no es brujería. Pueden entrar nomás donde está abierto, donde están las flores abiertos y siéntense. Y ahorita voy a explicar lo que vamos a hacer. ¿Okay? Sí. Reminding more chairs. So, buenas tardes a todos. Mi nombre es Irán Coronado. Trabajo para MIPA. De parte de mi papá somos UM y de parte de mamá somos Vigilia y Colectividad. Hello everyone. Good afternoon. Good evening. Either or. My name is Irán Coronado and I work with MIPA. On my father's side, we're UM. We're tribal people from the UM. And then on my mother's side, we're also tribal people, Vicholes and Coras. So lo que vamos a hacer ahora, ¿verdad? Estamos aquí en un círculo. Y estamos pensando, ¿por qué estamos en un círculo? ¿Por qué estamos quemando copal o cedro? Cuando situaciones pasan, cuando un niño nació, cuando alguien se está casando, cuando estamos celebrando la vida de alguien, nuestra gente antes del colonialismo se sentaban en círculos, ¿verdad? Para así saber que nadie estaba arriba de nadie, todos estamos igual, ¿verdad? Estamos en el mismo nivel. So, real quick, might need help with a little bit of my translation because I forget what I said a while ago. You know, we all might be wondering, why are we sitting down in a circle? Why is she burning cedar? What is cedar? What's copal, right? Our tribal people prior to colonization, and other people all over the world, before they became an empire or they built whatever they ended up building, they used to sit down in circles, you know, and the circle represents that nobody's above anybody. We're all the same. We're all one people. We're all the same, right? Regardless if you're a city council member or not, or you're a community member, that's why we sit down in a circle so we can all see each other's eyes. You know, when a child was born, when someone would get married, or any of that thing would happen, we used to sit down in circles to acknowledge them. Unfortunately, right now, what's bringing us together is the devastating shooting that happened in Texas, where 19 children and 2 teachers, I believe, were shot and killed. Not believe, they were actually shot and killed in a school setting, right? So that's what's bringing us together today. Ahorita lo vamos a levantar todos. I need everybody to stand up. And if you want to join me or not, it's okay. It's not witchcraft once again. This is just something that was taught to me. You might go somewhere else and they might just do it different, right? I don't know anything. And I say that in the nicest way possible. So ahorita estamos parados, vamos a hacer las 4 direcciones. Mucha gente lo sabe como los 4 vientos. Y como dije, esto no es nada de brujería, ¿verdad? Eso sí me enseñaron a mí para honorar a nuestra gente, que muchas veces hemos perdido esta costumbre de pensar nosotros como humanos. Y las 4 direcciones representan las 4 personas que tenemos en nuestras vidas: los niños, las mamás, los hombres, las mujeres, los hombres y los abuelos. So right now we're going to do the 4 directions. And the 4 directions, it addresses to the 4 seasons, to the 4 stages of life, to the 4 winds. And once again, it's not witchcraft. It's just the way that it was taught to us, and oftentimes we lose where we come from. And we're going to acknowledge the 4 people in our lives: the children, the men, the women, and our elders. So we're going to face to each direction because each direction has a significance to it. So I am going to need everybody to face each direction. If you want to, if not, it's okay. If you don't feel comfortable, you might not know much. You're like, I don't know what she's doing. It's okay. Don't worry. I don't know what I'm doing either. I'm just doing. So we're going to go ahead and face the direction of the east. Everybody, face the direction of the east. Todos vamos a mirar la dirección del este. El este representa el Quetzalcóatl, representa a los hombres. Les queremos mandar buenas intenciones a los hombres que están en nuestras vidas. Nuestros hombres que están ahorita peleando, luchando, trabajando por sus familias. Los hombres que están aquí presentes, les queremos mandar buenas intenciones, ¿verdad? Buena salud. In this direction, it's the direction of Quetzalcóatl, direction of the man. We want to honor our men, thank our men. All of you men here that are present, all of our little men in training, we want to honor you and, definitely wish you good health and love, and we pray for you to be the man that us women need you to be. And then we're going to face the direction of the west, dirección del... Esta dirección representa la dirección del Chipetote, que representa la dirección de las mujeres, del agua. En esta dirección Le damos las gracias a todas las mujeres que pasaron por el más grande sacrificio, y ese es dar luz a un bebé. Les queremos dar gracias a todas las mujeres que están aquí presentes, a las mamás solteras, a las mamás que están trabajando, a las mamás que están cuidando a sus niños, a todas las mujeres que hemos perdido por la violencia. Le queremos decir gracias, las queremos mucho, y vamos a seguir peleando por ustedes. Mateo. In this direction, we represent the direction of Tepetotec, direction of the woman, direction of the water. This direction where the sun sets. In this direction, we want to honor all of you women that have gone through the ultimate sacrifice, and that's giving birth. To all of you, the women that have passed on, to all the murdered and missing indigenous women that we've lost through violence, we want to honor them and thank them. We want to thank you all here that are here present, taking care of your children, making ends meet. I know it's not easy being a mother. I'm also a mother myself. And also to the women that are not mothers, women in general. We don't have to give birth if we don't want to, but we definitely want to honor you and thank you for being present, for being here. Mateo. And then we're going to face the direction of the south, dirección del sur. Esta dirección representa la dirección de Huitzilopochtli, la dirección de los niños. Le queremos dar gracias a todos los niños que están aquí presentes, orar por ellos, protegerlos, porque esa es nuestra única responsabilidad, es de cuidar de ellos, protegerlos, alistarlos para el mundo que van a vivir. Le queremos dar mucho amor, y a todos los niños que están en las cárceles, a los niños que fueron arrebatados por sus padres, que regresen para atrás con sus padres. A los niños que perdimos en Texas, a todos los niños aquí que están presentes, que sean protegidos. Esa es nuestra única responsabilidad, y es para protegerlos. This direction of Huitzilopochtli, direction of the children. In this direction, we honor all of our children, because our number one responsibility is to respect them and protect them. Very simple responsibility. We want to honor all of the children that are locked in cages, all of the children that are in foster homes or in incarceration that we've lost along the way. To all the children here that are present, we love you, we thank you for bringing your bravery, your curiosity, your energy, everything you bring, we need it. And then we're going to face the direction of the north. In the direction of the north is the direction of Tezcalipoca, direction of the Wounded Warrior. In this direction, we honor all of our elders, all of you elders that are here present. I see you. We thank you for everything you have done, for all the knowledge that you keep passing on to your grandchildren, or just children in general, for passing on those teachings. We want to pray and, for all those elders that have lost it all, that are sitting inside of the road, that have been forgotten. That's our number one responsibility too. And that's to take care of our elders, and to respect them too, to acknowledge them, to thank them. Mateo, en esa dirección es dirección de Tezcalipoca, dirección de la gente mayor, ¿verdad? Nuestros abuelos, abuelas, queremos mandarles buenas intenciones, los queremos tanto. Nuestra única responsabilidad para ellos es respetarlos también y cuidarlos, porque nomás ellos han peleado como nos han peleado, y los han protegido a nosotros también. A todos la gente mayor que se los han olvidado, ¿verdad? Pero de protegerlos y que regresen, que estén en salvo, porque miramos mucho maltrato con la gente mayor. Nomás tenemos una simple responsabilidad, que es cuidarlos. And then our Father Tonatiuh, and if everybody facing each other, our Father Tonatiuh, our Father Sky, we're considered the star people, because everything they find in the star, we were born out of them. En esa dirección es our Padre Tonatiuh, el cielo. Nos dicen que somos los hijos de las estrellas, ¿verdad? Porque cada cosa que hay en las estrellas se encuentra en nuestros cuerpos también. Mateo. And then if you can, take one knee. Si pueden ponerse en una rodilla. And in this direction, we honor I'm almost done. Ya me lo termino. No se preocupen. Almost done. This is the last direction. Almost. En esa dirección, we thank, in this direction, we thank our Mother Earth, or Mother Tonantzin, or Anahuac. We thank her, for everything she has provided. We've taken her for granted way too long, and that's what we're supposed to teach our children, to protect her. Anytime we're picking something up, a flower, I don't know, you might find a shell, we have to put something down, a piece of hair or some tobacco down, as like, hey, thank you. We want to acknowledge our Mother Earth like that. To protect our four-legged creatures, or two-legged creatures, or 100-legged creatures, and all of those. You know, it's our responsibility to take care of them because we are part of that circle of life. Oh, Mateo. En esta dirección, honoramos a nuestra madre Tonantzin, nuestra madre tierra, que tenemos una responsabilidad que también es cuidarla, porque muchas veces no la hemos cuidado y estamos mirando muchas cosas en el mundo. Muchos animales que se han extinguido, ¿verdad? Nuestra responsabilidad también es de cuidarla. Cada vez que vamos a recoger algo, una flor, o algo que encontremos, ¿verdad?, de ella, es nuestra responsabilidad de quitarnos algo de nosotros. Eso puede ser un pedazo de pelo, como agradeciendo, la verdad, gracias. También de cuidarla y honorarla también a todos los animales, a los de 4 pies, 2 pies, 100 pies, a todos ellos. Les queremos dar las gracias porque somos partes de ese círculo de la vida. Y también tenemos que darle gracias a nuestro planeta que los ha dado y dado mucho. Oh, Mateo. Okay, everybody stand up. And last but not least, at Mateo, everybody look at each other. Can you see who's here? Right? We're all humans. Is that part of that Mateo in that spectrum? Todos mírense, todos que están aquí. Porque todos somos humanos. Y ese es el Mateo, que todos se incluyó. So thank you all for doing the 4 directions. I know it's weird. It might be your first time. You know, this is one way that it was taught to me. Once people do it differently. But I want you all to express yourselves. How you're all feeling today. Oftentimes we're having sometimes we're having a bad day, right? And we go home and guess what we take it out on? We take it on our little ones. We might take it out on your spouse, on your partner, whatever you might have at home. Because oftentimes we don't have a person to vent to, right? We might have that bad day and we just take it out on other people. We might be feeling sad, stressed out because of work, something happens, you know, part of being adults. But I do want to open it up for all of you to express how you're feeling. You know, I know it's a really, really tough past weeks, especially with the shooting. If you want to express how you're feeling right now about the shooting, this is your space to open it up. After I open it up, because I'm going to say it in Spanish, the person that starts, you're going to pass it on to your left. And it's going to keep going to the left, to the person that starts. And the reason why we pass it to the left is because that's where our heart is at. And that's the way that our circle goes. So once I open it up, express yourself how you're feeling. You know, I know you all are coming together to honor the lives of the children, to honor the teachers, to honor their parents, you know, that don't get to have children. They're not able to hug them again. And that's what's bringing us together today. You're allowed to cry. This is a safe space for you to cry. It's okay to cry. You're allowed to, I mean, if you are going to yell or scream, be mindful of there's kids and we don't want to scare them. But you're allowed to express yourself and take as much time as needed. Ahorita voy a abrir el círculo para que ustedes se quieren expresar, porque muchas veces tenemos un día malo, un día estresante y vamos para atrás a la casa. Y a veces ese estrés se lo pasamos a nuestros niños sin querer, ¿verdad? Ese coraje se lo pasamos a nuestros hijos, porque ellos son esponjitas, ¿verdad? Ellos absorben todo. A veces tenemos un día malo y la primera persona que miramos es la primera persona que atacamos, ¿verdad? No atacar físicamente, ¿verdad? Pero así digo, atacar. Pero aquí en este espacio pueden llorar, pueden decir cómo se sienten ahorita, ¿verdad? De la balacera, de lo que pasó, cómo está su día ahora, ¿verdad? Ese es el lugar donde se pueden expresar. La persona que comienza se la va a pasar a la izquierda hasta que terminemos, porque ahí donde nuestro corazón está. Do you all know what we're doing? Yes? Right? I want to definitely open up the space like that, not just to honor their lives, but honor all of your lives too. How's everybody doing here? No nomás quiero abrir ese espacio para nomás honorar las vidas de ellos, pero también para honorar las vidas de ustedes. So whoever wants to open it up, la persona que quiera abrirlo, decir cómo se sienten, si quieren llorar, ese es el lugar de llorar.
A mí me llegó mucho y quizá por eso vengo aquí, porque me llegó más cuando dijeron que no podían reconocer a los niños y que tenían que tener su ADN para eso. Y vengo aquí para pedirles a todos ustedes que nos unamos para cuidar a nuestros hijos, que debemos de prevenir y que no debemos de pasar estas situaciones tan difíciles, y que yo estoy ahí para ayudar y que nos unamos por eso. Gracias.
I'm angry. I see the kids that I work with every day in the faces of those kids. And I don't understand why our very adult decisions continue to affect kids.
Sí, me siento triste por lo que pasó en Texas. Desgraciadamente estamos expuestos todos los días a algo, ¿verdad? Pero lamentablemente es muy doloroso porque son unas criaturas que se fueron. Como dicen, me da tristeza y en el corazón se siente porque nosotros tenemos hijos también. Y es muy triste pararse en la mañana, llevar a tus hijos a la escuela y el saber que no van a regresar a tu casa. Yo creo que es algo de verdad muy doloroso para los padres, para los maestros que fallecieron también, desgraciadamente. 4 hijos de una maestra y ahora se volvió esposo. Sí. Yo digo que parte de la educación empieza de la casa, ¿sí? Porque a veces lo que pasa es que descuidamos mucho a los hijos. Nos dejamos mucho tiempo fuera, no estamos hablando de ellos. A veces por estar trabajando, nos descuidamos de ellos totalmente. Entonces, estoy muy triste por lo que pasó ahí. Y esa es mi expresión.
Estamos aquí igual para apoyar a esos niños, que yo como mamá me duele mucho en el alma, porque son unos niños que apenas están viviendo y le arrebataron la vida, por eso estamos aquí apoyando. Y me entristece mucho también. Hay que dar más amor a nuestros hijos, a nuestros seres queridos, expresarlo todos los días. Gracias.
Yo me siento muy triste y por eso estoy aquí, para que le llegue fortaleza a las familias que están pasando por estas malas cosas.
Buenas tardes, estamos aquí, yo creo que es por algún motivo, ¿verdad? Por los niños que fallecieron, y pues estamos aquí apoyándolo más que nada, porque yo creo que en primer lugar es darle gracias a Dios, porque nosotros tenemos nuestros hijos aquí ahorita y no sabemos qué va a pasar mañana, porque solamente Dios sabe lo que puede pasar. Pero mientras, yo creo que la buena vibra que estamos dando aquí es para los padres que se quedaron sin hijos. Cada mañana, como dijo el Señor, llevar los hijos a la escuela, y de un momento a otro ya no están los hijos. Creo que levantar una oración para ellos, los dolientes, porque solamente Dios es el único que puede dar la fuerza y la fortaleza para que pueda llenar ese amor que quedó en el corazón los papás para los hijos. Gracias.
Yeah, it's definitely been a very heavy week since last Tuesday. Not a day goes by in my mind do I not think about the victims, let alone the victims for the years that this has happened to. So it's been really hard for me, and I continue to think about our community and how this impact not only impacted Texas, but across the world. And I'm just hoping that you guys find some type of healing and discomfort in this space for you guys to be able to go into tomorrow knowing that you have a circle around you, you have a community that you can lean into. And I'm definitely offering my space for you guys too, just let you guys know that if there's anyone you ever need to talk to, if there's someone that you feel like you don't have anyone to talk to, there are people out there that would be willing to talk to you, and I'm one of those people. So it's just a really heavy heart as a mom myself, dropping off my kids at school, it's still really, really hard. And I'm hearing that today from so many of you guys. So just wanted you guys to know that you're not alone, and I feel that too. Como te.
Es muy frustrante el ver que las cosas se repiten una y otra vez. Se nos olvida lo más básico, ¿no? Ser humano. El cuidarnos los unos a los otros y ver tanto poder que tienen personas, la cultura de la violencia. Desde hace muchos años aprendí una canción que les quiero compartir y que dice así: caminando y cantando esta misma canción, todos somos iguales y decimos que no a la guerra, a las armas, a la ley del talión, caminando y cantando esta misma canción. En tu frente está escrito que puedes lograr lo que tienes más cerca, luchar por la paz, caminando y cantando esta misma canción. Caminando se hace camino. Ven, vamos ahora, que no hay tiempo que perder. Si puedes, hazlo ahora. Y mañana ni después. Ven, vamos ahora, que no hay tiempo que perder. Si quieres, hazlo ahora, ni mañana ni después. Si te sientes perdido, empuñando un fusil, si matar no es preciso para sobrevivir, de canciones que enseñan la vieja lección, morir por la patria y vivir sin temor. En tu frente está escrito que puedes lograr lo que tienes más cerca, luchar por la paz, caminando y cantando esta misma canción. Caminando se hace camino. Mucha paz para todos.
I feel very sad, I feel angry, and I'm grateful for this community. And it reminds me that I don't have to be helpless against this evil that's happening.
I'm as close as I've ever been to being out of emotion. It just doesn't stop, and so many things come, and I am sad, and I'm heartbroken, and I'm afraid, and I'm confused, and I'm helpless, and I look at the children that I work with, and I see so much hope, and so much love, and so much joy in their eyes, and then I have to stop and think, people are killing children. It hasn't stopped. You know, it happens every day in this country that we live in, and it hasn't stopped. That unfortunately brings me to anger. What are we going to do? I feel accepted. I am so happy that this is happening. I'm happy that we're gathering. But even this happiness, it comes and it goes. It's just, like I started, I am just so close to overwhelmed and not being able to feel all of these emotions. Thank you all for being here. Sorry, I know I've lost my mind.
I have nothing to add to that, except that I'm really grateful.
I'm definitely angry. My heart breaks for all the families that have lost, not just last week, but anyways, have lost a child or, anybody. Nobody should have to go through a loss like that. And I just hope we see some change soon. Kids shouldn't have to be going through anything close to what they've been going through, learning the things that they're actually learning about. And thank you everybody for coming out, and I just hope for the best for all of the families and everybody that's been affected.
Yeah, personally, I'm pretty good, emotionally well. I want to say that this is something new, but it's not. It's something that we've dealt with as a society for a while, and it seems like we have some major changes to do, some perspectives to change, some just, I guess, different solutions to this problem. I don't know, as a father of 3, I don't know, it's kind of hard to look at my kids and even like tell them the story of like what's going on. You know what I mean? You always think that kids are off limits. You always think that something so precious has to be facilitated but not stolen. I don't know, it's just a really hard conversation to have and to really think about. I mean, even though it didn't happen here, the effects are the same. We still deal with the same trauma. And I just want to say, be conscious of how you move forward and how you talk to your kids, how you console them, the conversations you have, how you explain the situation. It means a lot. I mean, this is something that's going to be ingrained in our memory for a while. I just want to say, take care of yourself. I'm glad you guys came, that you got some of this medicine, that you're taking the steps to heal yourself and heal your little ones. I mean, the people that aren't present, make sure to take some of this back to them, because we all deserve some healing. We all deserve to move forward and move forward on the right foot. Me personally, I just really appreciate everybody that came. I mean, I know I don't know everybody in this room, but I hope this is a great introduction. And then I hope that while we're in community, that we take the time to really love on each other, right? Even if it's just a fist bump. If you see me around, just give me a fist bump, because we really don't know what's going on the inside. We really don't know how everybody is coping with it. So I just want to say, be conscious of yourself and those around you. And be conscious of your little ones. And once again, I appreciate your presence.
How I'm feeling right now. I feel tired just by doing that. I'm almost sweaty. And I will explain in a bit why I did that. But for me, when I first heard the news, I'm a mother. You know, I'm a mother of a 3-year-old who just recently was wearing choning, so that's a good thing. You know? And first thing I heard that happened, and you know, I wanted to hug my son, but he was not home. He was at babysitter's. And first thing that came up is like, I need to homeschool my kid. But then it doesn't only happen at schools. It happens in supermarkets. You know, honoring the lives of the Buffalo shooting. It happens in a church setting. It happened in Orange County within their Asian community. And well, maybe they need to wait till they're a little bit older, right? But then the 15-year-old girl that got stabbed and stopped it. You know, the way it was taught to me, you know, I grew up in the east side of Salinas. I'm from the east side of Salinas. You know, I myself went through different systems, just as like the foster care system, the juvenile justice system. And I know how it is when children are not held sacred. Because they're sacred. And even in our culture too, they're sacred. If you don't have something sacred with you, the thing to hold is your child, because they're closer to the spirit world. Because that's where their lives, we borrow their lives, and our job is to take care of them. So yes, I for a few days I woke up crying. I was like, what can we tell these parents? I'm sorry for going through this. What are you supposed to tell them? They lost a child that is never going to come home. They're never going to see them graduate. Probably get mad at them again for not making their bed, you know. And sometimes we take those days for granted, you know, and we shouldn't feel like that, especially with our little ones. I was telling my partner, I was like, who in the right mind? What? And we were just trying to sit there and just trying to like, how? And it's something that we will never understand, because we will never do that to a child, right? So yes, I'm sad, I'm angry, I'm confused on why that happened, and it's sad to say, is like, when is it gonna happen again? Whose life is it gonna take again? Are our children safe? Or do we need to bodyguard them everywhere they go? So that's how I feel, you know, and oftentimes I have to take how I feel back and take care of other people. But the most important thing is like I know how to take care of my emotional being, right? And it's something that I encourage you all to do. But there's a lot of emotions, you know, out of sadness, it comes rage, and out of rage comes confusion. Is that how are you going to go back home and take care of yourself so your little ones are able to succeed, or able to feel loved, or able to be feeling taken care of? I could go on for hours, but that's all I have to say. Lo que estaba diciendo es que cuando escuché yo la noticia de lo que pasó, yo también soy mamá, tengo un niño de 3 años. Y yo crecí también en el sistema, crecí cuando me quitaron mi mamá, en el sistema de la juvenil, de la adopción, todo eso. Y yo he mirado como a veces toman la vida de un niño como si fuera un objeto. Pero los niños son sagrados, ¿verdad? Y yo le estaba hablando con mi pareja y le dije, ¿cómo es que esto pasó? ¿Qué estaba cruzando por la mente de este señor, de este muchacho? Y nunca vamos a saber la respuesta que estaba pasando, porque no vamos a hacer eso nosotros, ¿verdad? Y la primera cosa que se me vino es, ¿sabes que mi hijo no va a ir a la escuela? Lo voy a enseñar aquí en la casa. Pero eso está pasando por donde quiera. En la marqueta, si vas a la Walmart, right? There was a Walmart shooting too. Si vas a la iglesia, lo que pasó en el condado de Orange County. O si ya está más mayores, como la muchacha que le quitaron la vida de 15 años en la escuela de Stockton, ¿verdad? Por mí es mucha tristeza, ¿verdad? De lo que está pasando. ¿Y qué les puede decir a estos padres de familia? ¿Qué les vas a decir? Oye, disculpa lo que estás pasando. Eso no le va a regresar a su niño, a su hija. Entonces sí es mucha tristeza, es mucho enojo. Eso es lo que tengo que decir. And I know I want to open it up to the people in the back. Si quieren meterse en el círculo. So what I did right now, I went around with copal and cedar, and that's used to fix things. Other people use sage. I use sage sometimes too. It's good. And I have the macaw feathers, and that was gifted to me a few years ago. And the macaw represents, it's the eagle forest. It's a forest eagle, right? I have different feathers that I use for certain occasions and for certain days. But the mother of your mother, that's what the macaw represents, your grandmother, from your mother's side. And it takes things. That's one of the birds that can fly the highest in the forest, because it sees things. They're messengers to Creator, and they take things. So when I was swinging things around, you know, like the macaw, it's actually how the macaw flies, and you can hear it. That's the medicine that it brings. So thank you all for people that granted that permission to do that.
Sure. I may not be a mother or a parent by any chance, but I am a high school student. A little experience within this past week, we were in one of my classes had to talk about how can we make classes safer, how do we make school safer for kids. And the most devastating part is that we have to talk about it. Like, we have to worry about these things at school. And I cannot imagine how a parent must feel losing their kid. Everyone's unique. There's no way you're going to recreate a kid right there and then. Like she said, what are you going to tell your parents? What are you going to tell the parents who just lost their kid? I'm sorry? There's no way that just by saying I'm sorry is going to bring them back to life. There's no way. And yeah, just in an instant, you take your student to school, your kid to school, your precious little being to school, gone before you know it. I do have a sister, 8 years old, elementary school kid. I cannot imagine if I would have known. And I cannot imagine how it must have felt for parents to find out to receive a call that the kid didn't make it. And as well, the teachers lost, cannot imagine. Losing someone you look up to, gone. I'm devastated.
Thank you for sharing. And it's exactly why we need to listen to the youth and listen to the children. Because they have the answers that sometimes we don't, ¿verdad? A veces es bueno escuchar a nuestros hijos o escuchar a los jóvenes porque ellos tienen la respuesta que a veces nosotros no tenemos. So thank you so much for that. Appreciate you for that. So lo que vamos a hacer ahorita es que vamos a decir los nombres de ellos fuerte. A veces cuando estamos tristes, ¿verdad? A veces nos enojamos y queremos gritar. So es lo que vamos a hacer. Vamos a gritar sus nombres. So what we're going to do is that I'm going to say their names and we're going to scream their names. Because oftentimes when we get mad or sad, that's the first thing we want to do, right? We want to scream. It feels good after we scream. But right now we're going to do it in a healthy way. And I'm going to need all the little children to scream as loud as you want, scream whatever you want. Los niños chiquitos pueden decir los nombres de los niños o pueden gritar lo que ellos quieran, porque son niños. Amarie Joe Garza.
Amarie Joe Garza.
Xavier Lopez.
Xavier Lopez.
Anabel Rodriguez.
Anabel Rodriguez.
Louder. Tess Marie Mata.
Tess Marie Mata.
Lucia Garcia.
Lucia Garcia.
Nevea Bravo.
Nevea Bravo.
Louder. Rogelio Torres.
Rogelio Torres.
Jayla Silguero.
Jayla Silguero.
McKenna Elrod.
McKenna Elrod.
Miranda Mathis.
Miranda Mathis.
Jose Flores Jr.
Jose Flores Jr.
Maite Rodriguez.
Maite Rodriguez.
Louder, más fuerte. JC Luevanos.
JC Luevanos.
Aliena Cruz Torres.
Aliena Cruz Torres.
Eliana Garcia.
Eliana Garcia.
Alicia Ramirez.
Alicia Ramirez.
Jackie Casares.
Jackie Casares.
Alexandra Rubio.
Alexandra Rubio.
Leila Salazar.
Leila Salazar.
And our fourth grade teachers, Eva Mirales.
Eva Mirales.
Irma Garcia.
Irma Garcia.
Okay, we're going to do it one more time, and this time I'm going to tell you their age. Vamos a hacerlo otra vez y esta vez lo voy a decir la edad de ellos. Amarie Joe Garza, 10 years old, nomás tenía 10 años. Amarie Joe Garza.
Amarie Joe Garza.
Xavier Lopez, nomás tenía 10 años. He was just 10 years old. Xavier Lopez. Sorry, I got a little confused. Anabel Rodriguez, she was just 10 years old, nomás tenía 10 años.
Anabel Rodriguez.
Tess Marie Mata.
Tess Marie Mata.
She has no age in here, so. Yusea Garcia, 8 years old, nomás tenía 8 años. Yusea Garcia.
Yusea Garcia.
Nevea Bravo, nomás tenía 10 años. She was just 10 years old. Nevea Bravo. Rogelio Torres.
Rogelio Torres.
He was just 10 years old, nomás tenía 10 años. Jayla Nicole Silguero.
Jayla Nicole Silguero.
Nomás tenía 10 años. She was just 10 years old. McKenna Elrod.
McKenna Elrod.
10 years old, nomás tenía 10 años. Miranda Mathis.
Miranda Mathis.
Nomás tenía 11 años. She was just 11 years old. Jose Flores Jr.
Jose Flores Jr.
He was just 10 years old, nomás tenía 10 años. Maite Rodriguez.
Maite Rodriguez.
He was just 10 years old, nomás tenía 10 años. JC Carmelos Luevanos.
JC Carmelos Luevanos.
He was just 10 years old, nomás tenía 10 años. Eliana Cruz Torres.
Eliana Cruz Torres.
She was just 10 years old, nomás tenía 10 años. Eliana Garcia.
Eliana Garcia.
Nomás tenía 9 años. She was just 9 years old. Alicia Ramirez.
Alicia Ramirez.
Nomás tenía 10 años. She was just 10 years old. Jackie Casares.
Jackie Casares.
She was just 10 years old. Nomás tenía 10 años. Alexandra Rubio.
Alexandra Rubio.
She was just 10 years old. Nomás tenía 10 años. Leila Salazar.
Leila Salazar.
She was just 10 years old. Nomás tenía 10 años. Y ahora los maestros. Eva Mirales.
Eva Mirales.
She was 44 years old. Nomás tenía 44 años. Irma Garcia.
Irma Garcia.
Nomás tenía 49 años. She was just 49 years old. I'm going to ask you all to take a moment, a minute of silence. Vamos a pedir a que tomen un minuto de silencio. You know, it takes community, and it's our community responsibility to check up on our neighbors, to trust our kids and to believe our children. It's our community responsibility to protect our children, to respect our women, to support our men, and to take care of our elders. A basic, small responsibility, very basic. It might not be your child, it might not be your parent or your mother, or it might be a stranger that you don't know, but it's very, very simple. It's to respect them, to honor them, to thank them and acknowledge them, to check up on our neighbors and ask them, hey, how are you doing today? Because only we can protect each other. Just like right now, you all are holding space for each other. Very simple responsibility. Tenemos una responsabilidad tan simple, que eso es cuidar a nuestros hijos, respetar a nuestras mujeres, apoyar a nuestros hombres y cuidar a nuestros mujeres. Una responsabilidad tan simple que nomás nuestra comunidad, como esta comunidad aquí, que se están apoyando ahorita, esa es nuestra responsabilidad como comunidad, de checar cómo están nuestros vecinos, de cuidar los niños de nuestros vecinos, ¿verdad? De estar ahí cuidando a todos los que están, sus familias, su comunidad, de honrarnos, de decirnos hola, ¿cómo estás? ¿Verdad? Algo tan simple así. Una simple responsabilidad que les tenemos que enseñar a nuestros hijos. Y a veces los tenemos que recordar que es nuestra responsabilidad de esta vida. Tan simple. And sometimes we have to remind our children and also pass that on to our children and be examples. Be that example. How to check up on your neighbor. You know, hi, how are you doing today? A very simple question that can go so far. Very, very simple. Now, I'm going to open it up again because I don't want you all just to go home and go with that emotion, because most likely you're going to do that because it's a very sad situation, but I want to hear from you all. What is something that you're expecting from your community as of today? It could be anything. It could be a simple acknowledgement. It could be a simple thank you. Thanks for being here. It could be to be there for each other, whatever it might be. What is something that you're expecting from your community? Voy a decirlo otra vez. Y esta vez quiero que se expresen qué es algo que quieren de su comunidad. Puede ser algo tan simple, pues, o que sea un hola, ¿cómo estás? ¿Verdad? O un gracias por estar aquí. O puede ser de cuidarse, de protegerse, lo que quieran. Lo que quieran decir a su comunidad, pero ¿qué es algo que quieren de su comunidad? Comenzando ahora.
I just, I want to see more of the community coming together like this, and everybody being there for each other and opening up their hearts to each other. See somebody having a bad day, or even if they just look like they're on a normal day, just make a point, smile, and say hi, and just to be there for one another. That's what I hope to see a little bit more of.
For me, something that I'm expecting from my community is to take care of the children, right? Where I live in an apartment, and there's kids running around everywhere, and I live next to a grumpy old person. And I say that in a more respectful way because I've seen grumpy people, but he's just, I don't want you running around here. I'm trying to relax. You know how to step in and be like, he's just a kid, let him run around. So it's our responsibility to be able to step in and like, hey, let him play around. He's just a kid. Lo que yo estoy esperando en nuestra comunidad es cuidar a nuestros hijos. Yo vivo al lado de un señor, ¿verdad?, que es muy enojón. Y la otra vez le gritó a los niños, no estén corriendo por aquí. ¿Verdad? Y yo me tuve que meter y decirles, ¿sabes qué son niños? Dejen que los niños jueguen. Y es lo que estoy esperando en esta comunidad. Si miran a alguien con malas intenciones, algo tan chiquito, algo tan grande que los metamos, ¿verdad? ¿Sabes qué son nuestros niños? O cuidar a nuestros niños, es lo que estoy esperando yo de mi comunidad. Sean los de ustedes o no sean de ustedes.
I would say what I truly expect is just for each one of us to acknowledge each other. I don't know. Me personally, it means a lot when somebody says hi or somebody just acknowledges my presence. I feel like it alleviates a lot of my stress. It makes me feel kind of intact with the community, like it kind of extends my tentacles a little bit. and I know it means a lot for other folks as well. So I think just extending a high, me personally, I like fist bumps. I mean, so don't be shy to extend the fist bump. But just acknowledging each other's presence, I think it's gonna solve a lot of the problems that we have now. I appreciate you.
Yo lo que espero de mi comunidad es que todos seamos amigos, todos somos humanos, que no haya diferencias de ningún tipo, que cada que nos veamos en la calle nos saludemos, que seamos uno solo, que si yo cuido a los demás, también los demás nos cuidemos mutuamente, que esta comunidad es algo maravillosa. Vivimos en un lugar tan hermoso y yo quisiera que así sigamos, que tengamos esa paz. Eso yo nada más quisiera que me
I would hope to see this community grow stronger, not only in tough times, but in every time. I work at his school, and he's a fourth grader. And so it hit a little different. And I grew up here, and when I was in school, I didn't have to worry about that until high school came when that Columbine incident happened. And a couple days after the Texas incident, there was a man in Seaside. The schools had to get locked down. And some of the kids were scared. So what I hope from this community is that we remember that our children, they are those who teach us true happiness. They are those who show us and remind us that we were once children. We ran around and jumped in puddles and had fun. So I would hope to see this community continue to grow stronger, participate more, reach out, fist bump more, and just acknowledge that we're a family. I was adopted, one of 18. Black, white, brown, every color in my family. We're all a family, blood or not.
Yo quiero que haya paz, que respetemos a los niños, por ejemplo en las escuelas, los maestros, que respeten a los niños y en la casa también, cuidarnos todos.
For me, what I expect is for this community to be safe, because nobody never knows if they're going to be like another shooter.
For this community, I want the president to make a vote about gun control, because I think it's too easy to get a gun, because you only have to be 15 and walk off to the store, so I was thinking of getting a vote, and if making like a law to make like a test or something.
I'd like to see awareness, show respect and inclusivity. I think this is a wonderful start to it, and being aware of other people in their space, and how they're feeling, and being inclusive of different cultures, and being open to it. Because ultimately that is where I feel a lot of negative things come from. And I think that if we all are aware of each other's emotions and thoughts and feelings, then maybe we can start being aware of what we need to do to change and make this community safe.
Yo quiero comentar algo muy importante que dijo. Estaba diciendo sobre, por ejemplo, que a veces amanecemos con un mal día, ¿verdad? A veces venimos enojados, hay muchas cosas. Yo trabajo en un restaurante y a veces pasan los customers y pues llegan bien enojados. ¿Y tú qué es lo que haces? Es tratar de alegrarles el día. Como dicen, decirles, hay una sonrisa, o ¿cómo está el día de hoy? ¿Cómo amaneció el día de hoy? Entonces, esa persona, pues voladito, se cambia y cambia su semblante, ¿sí me entienden? Entonces, eso es lo que quiero expresar yo. Y con respecto a la comunidad, algo muy importante, como dice también, pues saludarnos y quitar un poquito la discriminación que hay aquí. Porque a veces, como dicen la persona que dijo que no importa el color, ¿verdad? Aquí todos somos humanos. ¿sí? Lo que tenemos que es cuidarnos unos a otros. Y como es una comunidad, digamos, yo el tiempo que tengo aquí en esta ciudad, pues me ha tocado vivir cosas malas, cosas buenas, pero vamos a seguir haciendo un equipo, digamos, en la comunidad. Protegernos nosotros mismos y proteger a los demás, importante a los niños. ¿Sí? Como dice, no están corriendo, viene el señor y está enojado, ¿qué? ¿Por qué corre? Son unos niños. Entonces también tenemos que darles espacio, ¿verdad? Eso es lo que vemos.
I would like change phrase, like as a neighbor sometimes we wake up in the morning and get ready to go to work and your neighbor is not even acknowledging you coming out, and you would sometimes do the same because, oh, you guys didn't say good morning to me, go ahead and say good morning. Trying to change that kind of like mentality and start maybe like acknowledge everybody around you to know a little more and be more united, unify each other. I think that's the thing first we need to do, and maybe one day we have a bad day, find help. There's many places where you can go talk to somebody, a professional, and there's a lot of foundations that can help you with that.
For me, it's really important that I like to see our community try to remember that each one of us were children too. As you were mentioning, and each one of us had that joy and youth of just living life to the fullest in our hearts and trying to remember that. And knowing that it's easy to make a friend when you're little, and I know it's a lot harder when you get older, right? So trying to bring that joy back into our hearts and souls so we can allow each other to grow as friends and can grow as a family. And I think that can really help support our community as we grow into the future.
Yo les quiero decir a los niños que están aquí presentes que siempre pidan ayuda con alguien, porque ustedes son muy queridos por sus papás y por los maestros también, que pidan ayuda si necesitan ayuda.
Yo trabajo en una tienda y el decir un hola a una persona le cambia el día todo. Yo me siento contenta cuando digo hola y alguien me contesta. Y de decir un buenos días, buenas tardes, le alegra el día a todos. Y yo me siento contenta con eso. Y me siento alegre estar compartiendo con todos aquí y solo quiero decir gracias.
I would like to see, I work at a school, and I would like to see more of good morning and being happier. Because when you say good morning, you have sometimes people just pass you. Individuals just pass you or stare at you and walk by you. So I would like them to be more considerate.
For me, just a simple acknowledgement. Just acknowledge a person. It can be just, hi, and you keep on going. So that way you feel I'm not invisible. Just a simple hello, good morning. That's all we need in this community. That's a start. And if you stop to have a conversation, stop and have a conversation. Then you can continue and say, hi, how you doing? How's your day going? We can elaborate and continue asking the question. Maybe he'll open up and tell you what her day is going. So you might end up helping the person. That's all we need in the community. Acknowledgement.
Cuidarnos unos a otros, sobre todo a los niños, y educarlos para que ellos crezcan con bien. No pasen cosas como las que pasaron en Texas.
Is a sense of safety. I know it might be a lot, but there's times where school gets a little scary, where we had like one gun threat and half of my classmates were gone, which is a lot. And I want these kids to like have at least someone to rely on to feel safe throughout the whole day. And no, it might sound a lot, but at least let these kids have something to rely on.
Okay, buenas tardes a todos. Yo quisiera decir que como madre de un niño de casi 9 años, pues todo esto nos duele en el corazón a lo que está pasando. Y como comunidad, como individuos, necesitamos crear una atmósfera saludable para nuestros niños, donde crezcan con oportunidades, creciendo con un corazón sano, lo más saludable posible. para que una comunidad sea saludable empieza por las familias. Así es que es responsabilidad de nosotros como padres lanzar a nuestros hijos a las escuelas sin ira, sin resentimiento, sin enojos, con un hijo te amo, que tengas buen día. Depende de nosotros, ¿verdad? Que lleguen a las escuelas y el bullying desaparezca. Los que hemos sido afectados por eso sabemos que depende mucho de los padres, la educación que les demos a nuestros hijos, y pues como comunidad que nos aceptemos unos a otros, que haya paz y amor entre nosotros, que es lo que merecieran todos nuestros niños. Gracias.
Que enseñemos a nuestros hijos a no tener odio, a no tener rencor, a amar a los demás, que termine toda la maldad de que tienen a los niños que vienen creciendo, que han sufrido bullying, que han sufrido abusos, que han sufrido tantas cosas que les hacen a los niños, que termine todo eso para que así también ellos crezcan con amor, para que puedan querer a los demás.
¿Yo qué puedo decir? Pues yo desde que pasó eso en Texas, yo no me siento segura que mi hija está en la escuela, porque he visto muchas cosas que no debe en la escuela estar.
Bueno, creo que más que nada la educación tiene que empezar en la casa con nuestros hijos, porque nosotros mandamos a nuestros hijos a la escuela y no sabemos cómo están los hijos en la escuela, qué problemas tienen. A veces nosotros como padres nos enfocamos mucho al trabajo y no vamos a preguntar cómo van nuestros hijos en la escuela, o una llamada, o cómo se sienten. Creo que más que nada la comunicación, tener buena relación con nuestros hijos para que ellos también tengan buena relación con sus compañeros en la escuela, y más que nada nosotros tenemos que poner el ejemplo con la gente que encontramos en la calle, con nuestros vecinos. Que hay vecinos que a veces no les gusta que les digan algo, pero uno tiene que cumplir, y allá ellos si no contestan, pues es cosa de cada quien, ¿no? Pero creo que crear un buen ambiente, un saludo, hola, ¿cómo estás? O buenos días, o buenas tardes, creo que es más suficiente como un respeto hacia la persona, y uno mismo también primero, ¿no? Tiene que respetarse uno mismo, quererse uno mismo para poder respetar y querer a la demás gente, a lo que te rodea, a tu prójimo, amar a tu prójimo como a ti mismo también. Entonces creo que es lo más indispensable, porque todo lo que ha pasado a veces nos ponemos a pensar. Yo creo que no nomás yo ni uno y otro, yo creo que todos los que tenemos nuestros hijos nos ponemos a pensar. Ahorita nuestros hijos fueron a la escuela, mañana lo vamos a llevar, no sabemos qué es lo que pueda pasar. Creo que tenemos que estar conscientes que ir a la escuela o una llamada, preguntar cómo está la seguridad de la escuela, cuáles son las estrategias que tienen para, en caso de un accidente como lo que se está viviendo ahorita en las escuelas, en las tiendas, preguntar qué estrategia tiene la escuela para poder proteger a los hijos. Gracias, es todo.
Pues también nos sentimos tristes por todos los niños que va a pasar esto en la escuela, y pues es difícil, y pues como dijo la muchacha, en cualquier lugar puede pasar, no nada más en una escuela. Pero cuidar mucho a nuestros hijos y siempre tener buena relación, y más que nada siempre también como los que ya son adolescentes, checar sus amistades, porque a veces en eso no nos fijamos, y es allí donde empiezan de irse a la calle, y uno pensando, está con el amigo, con la amiga, pero no sabemos también cómo son los demás niños, o qué educación tienen. Y pues que haya también paz en el mundo entero, y orar mucho por el mundo entero, y acercarnos más a Dios.
Yo quiero pedirle mucho a la comunidad, mucho más que un saludo. Sinceramente, estamos en tiempo prestado. We're on borrowed time. We've neglected our kids, our communities, our relationships. Nuestras relaciones están como, ¿sabe? Como cuando uno no quiere hablar de lo feo de las cosas, y porque le duele a uno. Y sacarlo es como, ¿para qué vamos a hablar de eso? But sometimes there's so much pain you don't want to talk about it. And you look the other way and it's like, maybe it'll get better just by not talking about it. And honestly, I want to challenge all of us to continue having these difficult conversations, difficult moments, and continue relating in whatever capacity. So if all you got is a hello and a fist bump, that's good. Si solamente puedes decir hola y eso, está bien. Pero si puedes hablar con un político, habla con el político. If you can talk to a politician, they'll listen to you, you better do it. And if you have the capability of creating more spaces so our youth can talk, they can have a voice, para que se sientan seguros, puedan hablar y puedan ser ellos mismos, para que alguien que sea LGBTQ pueda existir en el mundo, o alguien de otra cultura, for LGBTQ folks to exist, to have a space, to live, to, whether they believe in the same thing as you or not, I think we need to do it. We just need to work harder. Todos. Tenemos que trabajar más duros, ponernos las pilas, porque nada más que mirar que a esto se pase, es que no, es una locura. You would just think that just by not talking about it, not doing the work, things are going to change. I hate to tell you, it's just not going to happen. So I want to challenge you with all the love in my heart. Les quiero mandar todo mi cariño para que sepan que ustedes se pertenecen los unos a los otros. You belong to one another. You really do. And don't take anybody for granted. No, todos ustedes cuentan. Los chiquitos que no hablan, que están aquí, parece que no están prestando atención, pero son como esponjas, they're sponges, they get it all. So please appreciate each other and challenge yourself. What can I do better tomorrow? ¿Qué tengo que aprender?
I'm really grateful that to have this opportunity to be with you all tonight. And even those of us who live in nearby communities, don't live in Seaside, those of us who no longer have children in school, we all are responsible for all of our children, and we have a lot of things to figure out, and what I ask of this community is don't give up on us.
So, you asked one thing that we expected. My hopes are pretty tempered in that regard. I think that there's an awful lot of paralysis because in another day or two something else is going to come and wash these feelings away with another wave of remorse and fear, I think. But one thing I truly hope for, absolutely hope for, is that we say good morning and we say hello and we offer fist bumps. We're family, like you said. We need to recognize we are all one. My pain is your pain. Your happiness is my happiness. We need to start feeling this way. We need to start believing this. We are the only ones that can take care of us. But it starts with taking care of yourself, but you can't stop. You have to realize that you're only going to be so good unless you help all the people around you. This gentleman is challenging us to open our hearts and work at this, and we all have to. Nobody else is going to do it for us. And I mean, this is a wonderful gathering of people. There's, 100,000 people living on the peninsula. There's, 40 million people in California, 300 and whatever million people, and you go on with all the numbers. It's got to start right here in this room tonight, and then it's going to continue. So say good morning tomorrow. Say hello. And then listen what they say back. Because so many of us, I mean, you go through the motions, and I got so much going on. It's the end of the school year and this and that. But you have to hear what everyone has to say, because what everyone has to say is important. And they're you're them. We need to think like family. Family doesn't always agree. But the successful families listen to each other, care for each other, care about each other. So I guess I hope that we become more family.
I would say I would hope that we approach our neighbors and our community with kindness, always, an open heart, an open mind. And if you can vote, go out and vote for people who will help change the gun laws.
The strength in the community that we feel looking at one another tonight,
large gathering. There will be a march on June 11th. All across this nation, there's a march called March for Our Lives. And it's building to really take on the gun industry, to really take on the discrimination, the racism that we have been seeing flare up, and feed the hatred and these evil acts that continue to happen. And I think if we can show up on June 11th, we bring our family, we bring our friends, we just need to keep pushing back and organizing and remembering the pain that we all have talked about, and that we can make a difference by showing up and showing out for each other.
I think I will just add to that and say that I expect my larger community, citizens of this country, to call your senators every day and expect your elected officials to pass bills and laws that represent the wants and needs of everyone in this country. And the majority of people do not common sense gun laws in this country, and we're one of the few countries that don't, and we have the highest death toll because of that.
I think looking for compassion and kindness in our community is really important. I want everyone to feel safe, and everyone's kids to be able to go outside and feel safe. And also vote, call your senators, stay aware and alert of what's happening on that side of things as well. I think all of us coming together is really powerful and important. Hopefully we do more of this.
And I heard a lot of same things: acknowledgement, compassion, regardless of race, color, anything, gender. Just one simple hello, right? And we take care of each other. Escuché casi lo mismo, que es compasión, saludarnos, saber que estamos ahí, para la discriminación y de cuidar a nuestros hijos. So you're all going to take that responsibility back, and you're going to practice it yourself. Ustedes van a tomar esa responsabilidad y la van a practicar ustedes mismos. That's my homework to you. Esa es mi tarea para todos ustedes. Pero antes de cerrar el círculo va a haber tres cosas. Va a haber appreciations, and then you're going to get some cedar in your hand, and you're going to think about good intentions for those families. And then we're going to put in a copalero, the thing that's burning. And then we're going to get all of those candles, and we're going to circle it up around the altar. And then from there, we'll say goodbye to each other. And if any of you want to write any letters to the families, over there in the back table, I will be mailing them out next week. Any letters, any words, anything you would like to express towards something to that community. So vamos a hacer unas cosas antes de cerrar el círculo. Vamos a hacer apreciación, gracias. Eso pasa cuando hablo mucho. Apreciación, ¿verdad? Ahorita voy a explicar lo que eso es. Y luego voy a pasar la medicina y van a pensar en buenas intenciones que quieren mandar a la familia. Y lo van a poner en el copalero. Y luego vamos a decir bye. No, vamos a poner las velas que tienen alrededor, como en un círculo alrededor del altar. Y luego lo vamos a despedir. Y si quieren escribirles cartas o algo a las familias, vas a ver la estación allá afuera. So I need everybody to stand up because we're going to do appreciations. And we haven't done appreciations because of COVID in a while, so this is my first ciclo in a while that we're going to do appreciations. No hemos hecho apreciaciones en un buen rato por COVID. So the way that things work is because we're all in one community right now. Es que I'm going to start it off. An appreciation is basically looking at each other's eyes, either a handshake or a hug. You look first to the connection in the eyes, and then you'll know like if it's looking for a hug or a handshake. And you're going to hug each other, do a handshake, and say, I appreciate. So I'm going to model it, and then the person that follows like that. So lo que va a hacer la apreciación es que vamos a mirarnos a los ojos, ¿verdad? Y vamos a decir, te aprecio. Va a ser una mano, handshake, saludo de mano, saludo de mano, o va a ser un abrazo. So yo lo voy a demostrar y luego vamos a seguir así. So we're all going to do that. Okay? Boundaries do sit in common place, you know? So I appreciate it. And then you're going to follow. va a seguir usted. Okay. I appreciate it. So. ¿Un abrazo? Okay, so what we're gonna do, some of you grab football and that's fine. Just make some more smoke, but it's okay. You're gonna think about good intentions. It could be a prayer, do whatever you want. If you want to pray, if you don't want to pray, but something good, something positive that you want to send out to those families. So van a pensar en buenas intenciones con ese cedro que quieran mandar a las familias. Puede ser buenos pensamientos, oraciones, como ustedes quieran. Once you do that, well, I'm going to invite you all to careful with the candles and drop it in the copalero. Whenever you get to it. So it's not smoky, there's good intentions and then go back to earth. So once everything's over, it goes back to Mother Earth, where it comes from. So with that said, thank you for joining today. This is community. Please take some flowers home. Put them in water, and when they die, put them next to a tree. Gracias a ustedes por venir. Lo que estaba diciendo que como ya no hay humo, ya se acabó el coal. Esta medicina va a ir para atrás a la tierra. Por favor, llévense flores. Y cuando se mueran las flores, pónganlos al lado de un árbol. No lo tiren a la basura. Pero por favor, llévense flores. Muchas gracias por venir. Esta es comunidad. No se olviden la responsabilidad. Y si quieren escribirles una carta, palabras a las familias, allá atrás en esa mesa donde están las velas, ahí están por si quieren escribirles algo. Muchas gracias por venir a todos. Gracias.